I'm Ryan Swain. Today is Monday, March 7th, and here's what's making news now. News out of Tunisia this morning, as police and military outposts were attacked in Ben Garden, a town near Libyan border. According to the Tunisian government, 45 people have been killed after militants attacked the town, prompting the government to close the two border crossings with Libya. Out of the casualties, 28 militants have died, including 7 civilians and 10 Tunisia's security forces. A suicide bombing has left 11 people dead in the town of Shab Qadar in northern Pakistan. The bomber detonated his explosives at the gates to the court building as police barred him from entering. The Taliban has taken responsibility for this act, claiming it was in response to the execution of Mumtaz Qadri last week. Qadri was arrested in 2011 for the assassination of then-Governor Salman Taseer. Taseer was a staunch advocate of reforming Pakistan's controversial blasphemy laws. A U.S. drone strike has killed over 150 militants belonging to al-Shabaab in Somalia, according to the Pentagon. Pentagon spokesperson Captain Jeff Davis said today the militants were going to be departing the camp soon and pose the imminent threat to the U.S. and African Union forces in the area. The strike, which took place on Saturday, targeted the militant camp located approximately 200 kilometers north of the capital, Mogadishu. According to Europol, 10,000 migrant children have disappeared after arriving to Europe. In an interview with French newspaper Le Figaro, Europol chief Rob Wainwright said this is something the European governments and police should be worried about. Of the 1.2 million refugees who have arrived in Europe last year, 85,000 of them were children unaccompanied by an adult. At the ongoing EU-Turkey summit in Brussels, European leaders are focusing on the migrant crisis, pressing Turkey to take back those who aren't in need of asylum. Currently, there are thousands of refugees stuck near the Greece-Macedonia border. In return, Turkey is seeking full access for citizens across the EU's visa-free zone and accelerated talks of an EU membership. Former First Lady and Hollywood actress Nancy Reagan has died at the age of 94. She was pronounced dead Sunday morning at her home in Los Angeles, with the cause of death being congestive heart failure. Nancy was former U.S. President Ronald Reagan's wife. Reagan's presidency ran from 1981 to 1989. Now, Sarah DeYoung has the latest in entertainment news.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's appearance on 60 Minutes aired yesterday. The Twitter sphere abuzz with tweets congratulating the PM. However, people on Twitter also pointed out a mistake that portrayed Sex and the City actress Kim Cattrall as the Prime Minister's mother. The Prime Minister also talked about Canada's Syrian refugee intake, Donald Trump, and nearly flunking out of school. The U.S. interview comes just days before his state visit to the country. Tony Dyson, creator of R2-D2, has died. The longtime special effects supervisor passed away Thursday in his home in Gozo, Malta. Dyson is an honored professor and is best known as the creator of 8 droids, including R2-D2 for the Star Wars franchise. The royal family has released new photos of Prince George and Princess Charlotte on their first vacation. Prince William, Kate Middleton, and their children George and Charlotte visited a secret location in the French Alps. The family invited Associated Press photographer John Still to photograph the joyous event. Rumor has it that actor Tom Hiddleston may replace Daniel Craig as the new James Bond. Hiddleston said he was a huge fan of the Bond series and would not take the job on lightly. Hiddleston joins the list of potential Bond replacements behind top picks Tom Hardy and Idris Elba. Daniel Craig is the 6th actor to portray the notable character and is expected to step down before completing the last 2 Bond films in his contract. The 2016 Canadian Screen Awards film nominees are now being screened for free across the country. On March 10th, audience members can watch nominated films such as Room on Hyena Road for free across more than 600 screens across the country. Would-be audience members can RSVP online through the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television. The award ceremony will air on TV this coming Sunday. Jimmy Kimmel is scheduled to host this year's Primetime Emmy Awards on September 15th. The announcement, confirmed this morning at the comedian's Twitter account, marks Kimmel's 2nd time hosting the awards show. The 68th Primetime Emmy Awards will broadcast live from the Microsoft Theater in LA on ABC. This weekend, Cineplex held Canada's first gaming championship finals at the Scotiabank Theatre. Top gamers across the country were flown in to compete in Call of Duty Black Ops 3's championship games to win more than $50,000 in cash and prizes. The first place winner took home $20,000 in cash, with second and third place taking home $8,000 and $3,500 respectively. Disney's Zootopia debuted at a record-breaking $73.7 million over the March 4th weekend, knocking three-week top runner Deadpool out of first place. The movie also beat out Frozen as the strongest opening weekend film in Disney's history. Second this weekend is sequel Olympus Has Fallen, which has made $22 million, and Deadpool at third, raking a total $673 million since its debut last month. That's your entertainment news. I'm Sarah Duong, and stay fabulous, friends.
Thanks, Sarah. The U.S. presidential primaries continue to be tight, with Super Saturday this past weekend. A big win for Senator Bernie Sanders in Maine as he faced off against Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the Democratic primary debate. Sanders delivered a fiery rebuttal against fracking to great applause from the audience. Republican frontrunner Donald Trump's campaign is on uneasy footing after losing in Maine and Kansas to Ted Cruz. SkedLIVE hit the streets to find out why Trump is doing so well.
You know what, personally, I think the media is on his side.
Mr. Trump is real, and what you're going to get if you vote for him is the real thing.
I guess maybe the weirdest part is how consistently bonkers he is to me. Like, every single time I hear about him in the news, I think, like, really? You said that?
And also Donald Trump is like a very strong contender for, like, in place of Hillary Clinton. He has a very big profile.
I'm Luke Alexander, and that was Humber's view on Donald Trump. Now back to the studio.
On Thursday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will make his way to the White House to sit down with President Barack Obama for a state dinner. This will be part of Trudeau's state visit to Washington, D.C. The Prime Minister will be accompanied by other members of Parliament, as well as his wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau. Now for your BizTech news, here is Irvin Solitario.
Thanks. The year might be 2016 and Canada has an equal number of women in cabinet, but the struggle for gender equality is still not over. Recent data released by StatScan for the Globe and Mail highlighted that a woman working full-time earns 71 cents for every dollar her male counterpart makes. According to the study, the wage gap is not caused by women working fewer hours or the level of their education. The study did not mention the real cause for this problem. In a response to the Globe and Mail's article, the federal government said it is committed to changing this but has no plan in introducing new laws anytime soon. Mac users are now at risk of getting a computer virus. Apple's Mac laptops has been branded by its ability to be virus-proof, but a recent discovery of the ransomware virus is causing anxiety in the tech world. The computer virus is transmitted through torrents, popular for illegally downloading music and movies. Well, more bad news for tech giant Apple. The CEO of Oculus, Palmer Luckey, said his virtual reality product would not support Apple devices. When asked when and why, Luckey simply said it is up to Apple and whenever they released a good computer. Ouch. As of now, there are no Apple device that can support Oculus Rift. For now, Apple users can just live reality as it is, while PC users enjoy virtual reality on their own. Well, the Bank of Banks is predicting a doomsday scenario for the global economy. The Bank of International Settlements says there is a, quote, gathering of storm in the finance world. The BIS notes that negative interest rates could become a reality in the near future. This could be bad news for Finance Minister Bill Morneau as he juggles to balance the budget and continue with the government spending plans. While private space company SpaceX failed to land its Falcon 9 rocket on a barge. However, company CEO Elon Musk remains steadfast in his quest to have a perfect reusable rocket. On Twitter, Elon Musk said the failure was caused by, quote, a V-hot entry. SpaceX has scrubbed 3 attempts to launch the rocket in the past. Reusable rockets would revolutionize spaceflight for its low-cost efficiencies. Well, how many emails have you sent today? Well, that the man who invented email has died. Ray Tomlinson has passed away in his native of Cambridge, Massachusetts at the age of 74. The MIT graduate invented the @ sign now used to address people on Twitter and on email addresses. That's your business and tech news now. I'm Irvin Solitario. Now back to Ryan in the studio.
Thanks, Irvin. A 13-year-old boy reportedly has been told he will have to legally go blind before a healthcare system covers his sight-saving surgery. Valen Vergunst suffers from a degenerative eye disease. According to Ontario's healthcare system, Vergunst's parents would have to pay approximately $3,000 for the procedure and wouldn't be covered by OHIP. According to a report released by the Criminal Law Association, more women criminal lawyers are quitting than men. The report was released by the CLA at a conference this past weekend in London, Ontario. The report touched on the lack of financial support for maternal leave, women being treated differently than men in the courtroom, and the wage gap. Warm weather is on its way. According to the Environment Canada's latest projections, spring weather will be warmer than usual this year. The projections show the temperatures will be higher on the east and west coasts. For more on our current weather, we head out to Luke Alexander and Shay Koshi for the latest.
I'm here at Humber Lakeshore campus where we're seeing the first bit of spring come along. We have blue skies out here. It's mild weather. It'll be a high of 11 degrees today, a low of 3 degrees. We're going to talk to some students to see what they think about the weather.
What am I looking forward to doing in the spring? Wear sunglasses and eat outside. I do work at a pool in the summer, actually, so when summer comes around, I'd like the weather to be nice.
The weather, well, when the sun comes out, I am happy. It hasn't been a hard winter at all, but for some reason, just that little snowfall that we had last week, I thought was pretty impactful. So the sun being out and knowing that warmer weather is coming makes me extremely happy.
I'm Luke Alexander. Now back to the studio for the 5-day forecast.
Thanks a lot, Luke. Well, it's definitely looking like spring's going to be warming up with what seemed like a very mild winter. The temperatures as the days go ahead seem to be rising, with Tuesday having a high of 12 and a low of 7. There is a chance of rain on Wednesday with a high of 15 and a low of 6. Same for Thursday with a high of 7 and a low of 2. Friday, you're going to see some sun and clouds with a high of 9 and a low of 0. While Saturday, same thing, but it definitely starts improving with a high of 10 and a low of 4. Well, that's all from here. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Shay. The Archbishop of Toronto, Thomas Collins, has released a statement about assisted dying. The Archbishop says there is no justification for the killing and urges Catholics to stand up against assisted dying. The Archbishop says it's unfair to call on doctors to perform medically assisted deaths. A jury has found Toronto woman Cindy Alley guilty of first-degree murder after day 1 of the deliberations. Alley was convicted of killing her 16-year-old daughter, Sinara, who suffered from cerebral palsy. The Crown argued Alley suffocated her daughter with a pillow. Alley's lawyers say they will appeal the conviction. Here at Humber, it's voting season. SkedLIVE reporters Sadie Berfello and Alana Pranchik have more on the story.
Today kicks off HSF Voting Week. This is your chance to have your voice heard on who you want representing you for the 2016-2017 school year.
So students can vote in the L building and the A building all week. We'll also be set up in different locations, the F building, Birmingham building, and the Annex. So you just need to know your student number and your login. You need to be a full-time student, and you have to be fully paid up on all of your fees. As long as you meet all those qualifications, you're eligible to vote.
We also spoke to students to see why they were voting today.
Well, they run the school, right? So I'm going to be here for the next few years, so depending on who I vote for, right?
You pay fees, and this is really your only chance to decide, who's going to make the decisions to spend that money that you give HSF no matter what.
They're doing it for us, right? Like, our opinion actually matters, so why would you not, if you want something done about it, why would you not vote? It doesn't make sense. It's just like voting for federal government and stuff like that, so.
I don't know, it just seemed kind of cool that I had the chance to vote on who can be, leader of student affairs or whatever. So it's kind of cool for me to support that.
For students who weren't really interested in voting, HSF had a little extra enticement.
So we have popcorn for everyone who votes, and we're also running a Snapchat contest, so anyone who sends a picture of themselves voting to the HSF Lakeshore Snapchat account will be entered into a draw to win a 50-inch TV, Netflix prize pack, and a Colonel's gift card.
If you're still unsure who to vote for, be sure to check out the candidates' campaign platforms online before hitting the polling stations. Sadie Perfetto, skedline.com.
Thanks, Sadie. Now over to Brian Aguilar in sports.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll start the segment by sending our congratulations to the Humber Hawks men and women's basketball team who won their OCAA championships. For more on the games, check Jonathan Tonnen's Humber Hawks recap at skedline.com. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning is hanging his cleats. The Denver Broncos announced on Sunday that the five-time NFL MVP quarterback is retiring. Manning called the team on Saturday night, informing his decision to call it a career. Manning won 2 Super Bowls during his 18-year career as a quarterback. He set numerous NFL and single-season records, including passing yards and passing touchdowns. He played for the Indianapolis Colts for 14 years, where he won his first Super Bowl. This year, he earned his second Super Bowl win with the Denver Broncos. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said in a statement, Peyton's competitive fire and love of the game made him a legendary player who thrilled fans for a generation. Meanwhile, rival quarterback Tom Brady posted on Facebook, "Congratulations, Peyton, on an incredible career. You changed the game forever and made everyone around you better. It's been an honor." From one superstar to another, Maria Sharapova is having a press conference right now where she is expected to announce her retirement. The 5-time Grand Slam champion has struggled during the past months due to a string of injuries. This year, she pulled out from a couple of tournaments because of a left forearm injury. Sharapova hasn't competed since her quarterfinal exit at the Australian Open. On Thursday, she announced her withdrawal from Indian Wells due to the same forearm injury. In some sad news, a Canadian boxer was among the 3 killed in Dubai on Sunday when the Ferrari they were driving slammed into a lamppost and split in half. Cody Nixon, a Toronto boxer and world traveler, represented Ontario at the Canadian Boxing Championships in 2012. Nixon recounted his adventures around the world on his Instagram account, Travel with Cody. It shows him skydiving and scuba diving. Global Affairs Canada confirmed that the 2 of the victims were Canadians. The Canadian consular officials in the United Arab Emirates will provide assistance to the families. In basketball, the Raptors were in action during the Sixers' birthday. The Toronto Raptors saw an 18 lead disappear as the Houston Rockets complete a comeback to win Sunday night's Game 113-107 in front of a sellout crowd. The loss ended their 12 consecutive home wins. It was Houston's first win in Toronto in 9 games. Their last win was in March 2007. Luis Scola led the Raptors offense, scoring 21 points and made 12 rebounds. DeMar DeRozan had 19 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, while Kyle Lowry finished with 17 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, Houston Rockets' James Harden had a big night, scoring 40 points with 14 assists and 5 rebounds. Dwight Howard finished with 21 points, an assist, and 11 rebounds. The Raptors are back in action on Tuesday against the Brooklyn Nets. In other hardwood action, the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Golden State Warriors 112-95. That stunned many NBA fans. It is the first time a 900 team got defeated by a team with a record under 200. Steph Curry was 1 for 10 beyond the arc. He scored 18 points and 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Jordan Clarkson led the Lakers offense with 25 points. D'Angelo Russell scored 21 points with 5 assists and 3 rebounds. To the ice rink we go. The National Hockey League announced on Sunday that the Winnipeg Jets will take on the Edmonton Oilers in the 2016 Tim Hortons Heritage Classic. The game will take place at Investors Group Field, the home stadium of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, on October 23rd. It will feature Oilers rising NHL star Connor McDavid. Legendary players from each team will play on an alumni game the day before. It will headline the great one, Wayne Gretzky, as the Oilers team captain, and he will be opposed by Dale Hawerchuk as the Jets captain. This will be the Jets' first outdoor game, while it's the Oilers' second time outside, as they hosted an outdoor game in 2003 at Commonwealth Stadium. Speaking of the Jets and the Oilers, they faced against each other on Sunday night. Laurie Korpikoski scored the go-ahead goal late in the second period for Edmonton as they defeated Winnipeg 2-1. Pat Maroon opened the scoring for the Oilers. Cam Talbot made 39 saves for Edmonton. Mark Scheifele scored the only goal for Winnipeg. Jets goalie Andrei Pavlik allowed 2 goals on 31 shots in the loss. The other Canadian team in action on Sunday were the Ottawa Senators. After a win on Saturday against the Leafs, the Senators lost to the Dallas Stars 2-1. Stars left wing Antoine Roussel scored the go-ahead goal during the third period. Jason Spezza also scored during the game. Stars goalie Kari Lehtinen made 23 saves. Zach Smith scored the lone goal for the Sens. Goalie Andrew Hammond allowed 2 goals and made 23 saves in the loss. Tonight's game include the Leafs hosting the Sabres, Calgary at home against the Sharks, and the Canucks in Los Angeles against the Kings. Switching to some soccer, the Toronto FC was victorious in their season opener 2-0 against the New York Red Bulls on Sunday afternoon. TFC star Sebastian Giovinco opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the 82nd minute. He also set up Marco Delgado's injury time goal. Sunday's win against the Red Bulls was the first in 7 matches played at the Red Bull Arena. They will play the New York FC next Sunday. TFC won't play their home opener until May 7 as constructions and renovations are being done at BMO Field. They start the season with 8 consecutive road games. TFC wasn't the only Canadian team in action. The Montreal Impact and the Vancouver Whitecaps also opened their season playing against each other yesterday. The Impact came on top with a 3-2 win against the Whitecaps at BC Place Stadium. Ignacio Piatti scored 2 goals for Montreal in the win. Dominic Oduro added a goal of his own, while Impact's goalie Evan Bush made 8 saves. Jordan Harvey and Kendall Watson provided goals for Vancouver, while their goalie David Ousted allowed 3 goals and made 2 saves. Montreal will play the New York Red Bulls next Saturday, while Vancouver will take on Kansas City. Before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to Mikael Kingsbury and Chloe Dufour Lapointe as they made history in the FIS World Cup, winning the Crystal Globe in men and women's respectively. It is the first time 2 Canadians were awarded the mogul skiing title in the same year. That's all from the sports desk. I'm Brian Aguilar. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Brian. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Premier Kathleen Wynne were on hand for the unveiling of the names of Toronto Zoo's twin pandas. For the names and more information, check out Sabrina Aruta's article on skedline.com. Toronto is officially 182 years old today. This marks the City of Toronto's incorporation, which took place in 1834. You can also find Chris O'Brien's article for more information on skedline.com. I'm Ryan Swain, and for all of us here at SkedLine, thanks for watching.